Dear Earthmates, today we are visiting Serbia. A dear lawyer and humanitarian activist Chedomir Stojkovic is hosting us very kindly. Thank you, dear Chedomir. We have recently met, but uh, our energies have come together very well, I feel.
Yeah, thank you for having me here. And I really appreciate your interest on the topics in Serbia. I think it's very important in the time like this, especially when we know that world is busy these days with many topics. So I really appreciate that you pay attention what happening in Serbia right now.
Yes. As I have mentioned before, I consider myself a citizen of the world, and I'm speaking as an earthmate to an earthmate. And everywhere in the world, we need democratization. In some countries, more. There is more urgency than others. And we are all on the same boat on our planet. So, yes. And uh, the topic is law, humanity, and Serbia. This includes almost everything, I guess. Um, so the floor is yours. But um, today or yesterday, you received a document uh, limiting your freedom of mobility, to put it in pleasant words as much as possible. Would you like to start with that, or what would you like to mention?
Well, as you mentioned, uh, we are all on the same boat, and this is not just metaphor; it's reality. We are sailing on this small planet through universe, and it's happening for a while, for a couple of millions of years. But from when it comes to our species, it's a couple of the hundred of thousands of years. It's not so much when we compare that with other things in universe. And what we learn from the beginning is that humanity developed itself when people are free to think and to speak and to connect each other through speech and through thoughts. So this is how we have built uh, all civilizations. This is how we build technologies, science, uh, universities, families. We built everything what we have today by being able to speak, think, and connect each other. So when today uh, countries in the 21st century bans people to speak and to connect in that way, this is not just a punch to a humanitarian law. This is the punch and attack uh, in 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 our civilization, because if we are not able uh, to speak freely, to think freely, and to connect each other freely, then everything stops. And in that circumstances, uh, societies decay, um, production, human production, this is not just economic production, it is human production, which means the production of science, production of intellectual efforts, everything decay. So this is the reason why we need to fight that. because fighting for free speech, free thinking is fight for humankind. It's fight for a future. It's fight for our civilization. And as you mentioned, contrary to that, in my country forbidden me to speak freely, to act freely, to connect people with my speech. They issued the ban on the December 29. They banned me to use my social networks, to recording and broadcasting my podcasts. And my podcast is in Serbia for now is the only pro-Western and pro-European podcast right now. And they ban me for attending the public gatherings of any kind, including funerals and marriage celebration. So it's absurd. The reason why the state did that is because the ruler of the state is scared. He's scared of free thinking. He's scared of other ideas. He's scared from having other people to political connect. So, and my social networks had some influence, not just in Serbian society, but also around the region and also around the Europe. So on the December 29, then they issue the documents which bans me to have any public speech on the X social network and on YouTube. And in that document was threat that if I violate that measure, that that there will be detention on me. On the January 14, I decided not to comply with that measure because it is illegal. By the Serbian law, you cannot forbid people to speak and you cannot forbid people to use social networks. So I decided to violate that measure. And today, as a consequence of that, I received not just the document, but electronic device on my leg and banned to leave my apartment. So I'm now on house arrest. And they extended the measure against me now to all social networks. This is actually ban of public speech, because if you ban today somebody to use social network to address people, to address followers, to address, especially in political way, that means that the state decided to ban the public speech. And exactly the public speech is the most important speech because through public speech, you transfer the ideas, the political views, and influence to others to not obey, for example, to the bad government. And this is exactly the reason why am I now in the house arrest.
I see. Thank you. And at this point, I need to do something which I normally do not in my international interviews. I do not say a few things about myself, but at this point, I want to mention that, all right, I'm a poet, playwright, but I'm here primarily, in addition to being someone who wants to learn more and try to contribute more, I'm here as a member of the advisory board of Pan International Writers for Peace Committee. And I'm also here as the recipient of Mahatma Gandhi Peace Award, presented to me kindly by La Foundation for World Peace in Italy. I will not mention the other international awards in literature and other fields, but uh, these uh, these awards and this position uh, helps me focus on certain duties better, and I wanted to mention this. Um, uh, Now, I would like to ask why you chose the field of law. When did you choose a personal history, going back a little bit?
Yeah, well, thank you for that question. Actually, it's some people find that interesting. I was 17 years old, uh, and it was just half of year in front of me to reach uh, 18 years old, to be 18 years old. And Milosevic, Slobodan Milosevic, was the ruler of Serbia. And I was the very good student of the Middle Electrotechnical School. And I had in my mind to conquer the knowledge of electrotechnics. And I had some ideas to how to contribute in the science in that way to create better way of producing of electricity. As you may know, the Nikola Tesla is from this region, and he's very famous. So he was my inspiration, and that was the 1999 and 2000 year. And I was deep in the electrotechnical science as I could on that level of my education. Um, and I had that plans for university and after for science. I have hoped. But then the protests in Serbia emerged against Slobodan Milosevic, and I attended those protests, and things sometimes, not sometimes, somehow things always turn quickly when it comes to my involvement anywhere. So 3 days after I start to attend the protests, the people who was organizing the protest gave me their trust and the microphone, and I was on the public square having very energized speech through crowds, and that was, I don't know, tens of thousands of people in small city named Valjevo. And after that, I was arrested. I was arrested, and that was the first time. But I was continuing to doing the same, and very soon I was arrested again, and in one point I was beaten in the police station very hardly, and I was 17 years old. And I remember, as it is today, when I was released, I walked out through the door of the police station, and I have those questions in my mind. Can they do that? Do they have right to do that? I didn't do anything wrong, but who knows? I'm not a lawyer. I'm not. Did I do anything wrong? And those questions was in my mind, and then after a couple of months, I had in my as a conclusion in the state like this, it's the pointless to have a scientific way of thinking if you cannot express your thoughts. And at that moment, I decided to go to the law school. And I went to the law school. And from the first day, I had the passion to be a lawyer, not to be a judge, not to be a prosecutor, not to be, I don't know, some administrator in some company. So that was my decision. So my decisions are, deeply rooted to what I experienced at that time. So when I see today, 26 years later, that same things happening in my own country and against me again. But I'm just one man who suffered in that way. There is hundreds, if not thousands, of people in Serbia in the same situation as me now. And now when I see all this, I had regrets like, okay, you could, continue in that electrotechnic science education way. Um, you could, attend other university. But now, 6 years later, when everything is the same, just the names on the power are different, uh, somehow I hope that I did the right thing because me as a lawyer in Serbia, I can make a difference. I can help people. I can turn attention of some international communities on this topic. Um, and I have passion for it because that passion was created the quarter of century ago.
Thank you. Yes, two things have come to my mind. First, you mentioned Nikola Tesla. I have also been inspired by him, and I spent 10 years, exactly 10 years, on writing an epic about him. I can send it to you if you wish. I have recently finished it. And uh, Serbia is a country I have very wonderful memories of. In 2011, we had the Pan International Congress in Belgrade, and I was there, and I have a significant number of Serbian friends who are intellectuals like you and who have been struggling for human rights all over the world. That's one thing. Another thing, I want to quote one of my maxims or aphorisms about law. Um, one who does not know law thinks one lives in a jungle. One who knows law knows that one is living in a jungle. Uh, it's but what is the difference? The difference is that you have at least some sort of a guide in the jungle, better than nothing. Yes, we yes automatically tend to attach a lot of significance to good concepts, for example, law
Mhm.
or literature or peace. Yes, these are all among our key words, of course. We cannot do without them. Yes, they by themselves cannot do anything unless people like you put concrete effort into it. You embody, you bring life to such words, dear Chedomir Stojkovic and people like you. And um, before we go on, you are young, of course, but there are even younger um, people concerned in the world. What would you like to recommend to uh, very young Earthmates who are concerned with human rights, peace, democratization?
Well, every human being needs to make a choice. Now, as we see in the 21st century, uh, somehow this is a century of migration, and that creates a lot of political trouble around the world for many reasons. I don't want to go. I don't want to dive in that particular problem, but the reason why people are migrate is because they want better life. This is the reason. Nobody migrate because he's too happy in his country and he said, "Oh, this is too much for me. I want to go somewhere where I will have a worse life." So everybody wants the better life. Um, so it's a choice. Will you change the country, or you will change the country? So either you will change your own country to better, either you will change the country where you're living. So, but in either way, you need to put effort, and the effort is not small in either way. But somehow, when you fight to change the country where you are living, um, you are doing this because of the personal reasons, and the personal reasons only. When you choose to change your own country, then you change, you make change in it not just because of your personal reasons, but because of the community you belong. And there is a third group, but it is very small minority that people simply needed to leave their own countries in order to save their lives. So this is the totally different things. But if you're not in that position, when of course you need to protect your life, and this is very important, you cannot change anything if you're dead. But if you're not in that small group, then I think it's very important at least to try to make a difference, to make effort, to change your country to better. Because we saw it. When a lot of people think that change in their own country are impossible, then they start to migrate in the huge numbers to other countries, and that creates other problems. So now in those countries, we see there is many people fighting against migration. I don't want to dive now into the topic, is that right or wrong? This is totally different topic, and it's very, very complex topic. Uh, but if many people choose to surrender and to go away, then many people exactly in the part where you want to go will be against your choice. So I think the most important thing is let's in the start, uh, let's trust that change is possible. The history of human civilization witnesses about it. There is many part of the world in which in one period was very very bad, but in other period was very very good. And somehow I think that was the case with any part of the world. Uh, so that testifies that change is possible and that you can be contributor of that change. So don't be depressive, don't be melancholic. Just every dictatorial and autocracy regime is the same. In this way, it's the same. They are invest enormous effort in order to stop free speech, because when regime in particular country creates success in it, then everybody in that country think that he or her is alone. Because if I cannot hear you and I can hear only my thoughts, and I cannot see that the majority of the people actually wants everything but I want. And if I think that I am alone, I won't be able to connect with anybody. And in that circumstances, you will be isolated and you will start thinking that you are alone. And by that, you will think that change is not possible. And if you start to do that, then you will be very pessimistic, and migration will be the only way that you see in your mind. So, in the first, I think especially young person in the world, should know that whatever he or she thinks, there is a lot of people around that think in the same way. So, and regime in every country will start with some kind of psychological operation through media propaganda to convince you that you are alone. And that is their job. They know this secret, yeah, if it is a secret at all. So they know that. And they make great effort in order to achieve that. So just don't trust in that. Just trust that there is a lot of people in every single country that thinking exactly as you think, and they are ready to create effort as you are ready. But if you think that you are alone, then they think that they are alone also. Mm-hmm. So just connect and the optimism will rise. And when you have optimism, then your eyes will create your vision how you can change the things. So this is my opinion how people in the world should behave. They need to recognize this operation of regime, and they need to still have trust in their own people.
Yes, thank you so much. In 2011, again, I was invited to Bosnia-Herzegovina. And when I went there, I took a poem which I had written in 1994. And when the tragedy was going on, mass murder, genocide, etc. And I wrote the poem in English because I was addressing the West, who that was not doing anything. And then I was invited. One of the reasons was for me to give a creative writing seminar um, to high school students. So in Sarajevo, Saraybosna, thanks to Penn Center of Bosnia-Herzegovina, my colleagues arranged a meeting with high school students, and I found three groups in front of me. Croatian students, Serbian students, and Bosnian students ethnically before me. They were 15, 16, 17 years old, and the horrible years, they were babies then. And so how can I start my presentation? This is how it began, and I may have mentioned this to you in our private conversation, the first and the I said, there are some apples that say there should only be apples in the world. Down with bananas, oranges. These are racist apples. Some apples say, okay, we're apples, but there are bananas. Let them be. Let there be bananas and oranges too. These are democratic apples. And then there are some apples that say, I did not choose to be an apple. I want to become a fruit salad. And I said to them, I want to become a fruit salad. Since my early youth, I've been trying to become a fruit salad. Um, I'm trying to learn. We do not choose our birthplace or the culture, or when we start questioning the things that were given to us. Yeah, this is your history, this is your religion, or this is it, this is not that, these guys are good, these guys are bad. When we start questioning, we are already formed. It's not easy to improve, but with an open mind and open heart, yes, one can always develop. And, and that's why I initiated in 2013 the Earth Civilization or Civilization Project and Network. And I'm now speaking also as the initiator and co-founder of that network. And we're trying to contribute uh, to improve the synergic fruitfulness. Uh, and some people say, okay, this is humanity, there cannot be a better world or whatever. I say, come on. I mean, our ancestors, they suffered a lot of hardships. They did not give up.
Yeah.
And I think humanity is in progress. Um, Still, half of the glass is full only, better than nothing. But still, most of the people in the world, not most, but around maybe half, they think that they are first, they belong to this religion or nation. And then a few questions later, oh, yes, I am also human. But that, some people say, first, I'm human. And then, of course, I did not come from the sky. I was born into a social, cultural milieu. That's why dialogue is vital, and we need multicultural, multi-generational, multi-professional cafe groups, I call them, Earthmates Cafe. There should be more. Because there are wonderful local, national, international organizations. They focus on concrete objects. Oh, very good. But then we need uh, we need to breathe comfortably. We need
Yeah,
to g- take some positive energy. Now, where shall we get? Now, a car, you take your car to gas to take gasoline to a station. Okay, as human beings, where shall we gain positive energy? One of them can be such cafes, multicultural cafes for just chatting. No duties, the Earthmates Cafe. No duties. A topic, yes, we do not discuss. We do not, nobody tries to convince anyone. We learn, we co-evolve, we learn together. And everybody is already busy. Everybody has already a lot of duties. Each person is a leader in that specific
yeah,
field. And
yeah,
then these people need to come together and an ethical journey as long as humanity exists. We need more and more. And so I began to mention this. I did not intend to mention this when we began our interview, honestly, but it has its place. And I would like to invite other Earthmates to visit our website, earthcivilization.net. The material is there. And there is no official organization, nothing financial, nothing. And nobody ethically has the right to speak on behalf of the Earth Civilization Project or network. But everybody has the right to do something in harmony with human rights, nature rights, peace efforts. I just wanted to mention this. What's the French word? And passer, as we pass. Um,
if I may,
please, please,
before
please,
we
your
continue.
comments.
So we are we are the system of education teaches us that the wars are started because I don't know resources, uh, uh, some different global changes, climate issues. So system teach us that this is the reason why war starts. But I think this is not true. That every single battle on the earth between humanity among humanity is the battle of thoughts.
Hmm.
It's the battle how people think. So at the time when people start thinking in the Germany in the Nazi way, it was terrible. When people start in some other country to think, okay, we need to take this part of the land, it's a war. So, and in the same time, history showing us that everything what you need actually you can achieve in another way of thinking without clashes, without wars, without those kind of struggles. So if we consider, just for a moment, as an example, if 1,000 years ago or 2,000 years ago, uh, mind and were open in that percent as it is today, how earlier we would conquer the knowledge we possess today.
Hmm.
So if people 2,000 years ago, instead of having the prejudice, if instead of bans everybody to think other way, uh, maybe we could achieve that we have some kind of vaccine, medical, 1,000 years ago. Maybe automobile will be invented 1,000 years ago, airplane
Mm,
also. Maybe we would now lived in spaceships. Who knows that? But what we can know is that, as you said, uh, open mind actually allows you to consider ideas and to create another ideas. Ideas is like any other building. You took one brick by brick and then you create idea. Uh, Independently, is it a car? Is it a plane? Is it a medic? Is it something else? So, and we know that today we have more open minds than 1,000 years ago. So when we know that, then we need its equation. Then we need to conclude how important it is to have an open mind. It's so simple to conclude. So if we have open mind, then our development will be faster. We will achieve what we need to achieve in the smaller period of time. This, I think, fusion reactor, which is so important for future energy for humanity, will be achieved earlier if we have the open mind. And who knows what else? But when we speak in science about that, it's so clear, right?
mm.
That every single person, regardless in which political specter, from which political specter he is, every single person will agree that this is the true when it came to science. But when you, the same way of thinking, now transfer to politics and social systems, then you see, resistance from the same people who will say that you're right when you speak about the science that way. So somehow we need to convince more and more people that the open mind is actually essential for human development. We still have today a situation that many people dies in some uh, ridiculous way. There is still some parts in the world where the hunger is big, where disease are striking people. So, and there is, many parts of the world where it is so hard to achieve the personal happiness. So, if we have open mind, then the science will do the job, but also the politics will do the job, because if we have democratic um uh, mixing of thoughts, then eventually we will create system which is better than this we have today.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Um, have you begun writing your life story, autobiography? You may think you are too young for that, but I encourage you. Ethically, I encourage every human being to write their lives. I take
well,
it.
well, I didn't start write nothing like autobiography, but I did start to write a book. I love science fiction,
Hmm.
so
I was going to come to literature after this. Yes.
okay, great, yeah. So I started to write, and I have some my own ideas and some my own visions, and how things will develop in the future, and what are the topics that humanity needs to pay a more attention. So I create actually. I'm trying to create the book, but now, in these times, I was very, very productive in the recent months. But then all this struggle, political activities, protests, now my arrests, you know, it's now I don't have time to write, but but yeah, I will do it. I will finish. I promise.
Yes. And when you read, uh, I read Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment when I was very young. I need to read it again. Some classics need to be read
Yeah.
every 20 years. Uh, when you read a book like that, of course, you are yourself, first of all, uh, Edomir Stojkovic. Uh, Also, you're a lawyer. Do you catch yourself evaluating the situation in a book, in a novel, for example, as a lawyer as well, in addition to a plain reader as yourself? I mean, how is being a lawyer affecting your reading literature? Is it
Well,
affecting?
a lot. I can tell you a lot, but you know there is a different lawyers. So, but I'm the kind of lawyer who is involved in politics from when I was very young. Not so much in the political decision because I was running away always when it came. You know, we changed Milosevic at the time, and I was very prominent among my in my town, so I could, you know, have some fruits from my fight at the time, but I choose not to. So I decided to uh, go away from any political organization, and I was at my college, and I was learning the law. And I was dedicated to it. But you know, it is the country as it is. So for somebody like me, it's impossible to be out of this things forever. So every few years, I was involved again and again and again, and now I'm involved again now on the bigger level than that. That at the time I was a kid. So what I want to say with this, I always had opportunity to observe things in the same time as a lawyer, but also as a politician or political activist or just somebody who always have some political way of thinking. And I see those things, those two way of thinking, very complementary. Because what is the law? The law is the consequence of the politics. So we want to do that. And in order to achieve that, we need rules for society, how society should behave in order to achieve that. So this is how I understand the relations between politics and the law. And then you go to the law and then you read those rules, and then you have I forgot the word now. Then you have the execution of the law. Then you have and then you gain more experience how different people see the same law in different ways. So through all of that, you actually conclude that it is not simple to create a good society. Because in order to have a good society, you need to have a lot of people who think in the good way uh, in the beginning when they uh, decide what they want to achieve, and then when they decide by which rules they will achieve it, and then a lot of people who will apply those rules in those ways, in that way. So, and I see, you know, I saw the troubles and the problems in all those three steps from many reasons and in many colors. So, um, but my general impression is, you know, that if that the one thing is actually what make a difference. You need to have a lot of people with good attentions. When they have a good attentions, even if they made mistakes in these three steps, they will go step behind and then will try to change those mistakes, to correct those mistakes in all three levels. And I saw a lot of human destinies through all of those processes, especially when it came to execution of the law, and especially when it came how much people are actually aware what the law is. And I see there is a many trouble there because people, it's 21st century. You don't have time to sit at your house and to read a lot of laws, in order to direct your behavior in one way or another. When it comes to basic things, kill or not to kill, it's simple. You know that you should not kill anybody or you should not create any kind of violence. It's simple in that level. But world is now complex. There is many rules, many things now, and more rule it is, the more abuse of the rule it is, because the smaller amount of people knows what actually the rules are. I don't know, you don't know what kind of rules are when it comes to, international finance systems and everything. You don't know that. So on that high level, it's very easy to hide inappropriate behavior. So, if I go outside on my street and punch somebody in the head, everybody will say, oh, this is very wrong. This is violations of the rules. But if I do something with my tablet, laptop, in the international financial things, who would know that? Who will oppose me? Who will fight against me? And, when you see all of those things, then I reread now actually the book of Charles Dickens, The Tale of the Two Cities, and it's a wonderful piece of art and history. And now in these times, when I also have experienced 6 years ago with Milosevic and everything, and now I see what's happening in Serbia, and I feel these people, and I speak with these people, and I have emotion, and I know their emotion. So now when I read that book, I feel so energized. Every sentence I read creates such a strong emotions on me. And now you understand that book even better. And then I admire how somebody actually could be such a genius to actually to portray all of those things what happened at the time in France and in England with such a clarity. And he didn't participate in that events. He wasn't revolutionary, but he wrote it as he was there in every single person. So, and when he creates thoughts about how jungle, when it comes to law, how jungle actually looks like. And when I read it as a lawyer, I admire that guy, how he was able to understand everything and to describe everything and to create emotion about it. So, yeah.
Yeah. That novel is one of the many classics I haven't had the chance to read yet. And I recall that Lev Tolstoy listened to Charles Dickens now, if memory serves, one of a lecture of Charles Dickens. What an interesting moment it must have been, young Lev Tolstoy listening to Charles Dickens.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what a big.
Well, the obviously ideas are contagious.
Mm,
So and they are transferred through the time and through the fields, and
yes,
actually, and good ideas change,
spread.
create changes through the time.
Exactly. Um, uh, a good idea um, can spread, especially thanks to social media, no matter what the limitations are or maybe, uh, just as a virus spreads uh, fast, good ideas also. Yes. And when you write, now I'm speaking to a writer now when I speak to you, my colleague as a writer. Um, uh, do you start with a pen or pencil or directly the computer? Um, what is what do you prefer?
Oh, I found myself in the trouble when I started writing. I wrote, I know, thousands and thousands, literally thousands, maybe tens of thousands, maybe pages. But that was different thing. That was my profession. So
Hmm.
as a lawyer, I was arguing a lot of pages about some big cases, and when I and if I collect that in one book, I don't know, it will be thousands and thousands of pages. But when it came to this, I wrote some small stories and some I don't know translation now. Sorry, not songs, but uh,
Poems,
yeah, uh,
poems, lyrics,
yes,
poems. Mhm.
yeah. So and that was also easy. And then I start to write a book, and I was very ambitious. I create my universe, worlds. I created my characters, and I had many characters. And then I found myself, oh my God, I have a lot of places, a lot of planets, a lot of people in my book. I need to learn how to, construct the story of it in order to be interested to anyone.
Hmm.
Because when I draw a map of it, it was easy. I was on my electronic devices. I create maps of the places, characters. What happening, what this city looks like, what this civilization looks like, what are the troubles, where are the conflicts. That was easy. But when I started to wrote, then I found out that I do not know how to do it. And then I started to watch some videos. There is a lot of writers now uh, uh, learning people through social medias how to actually arrange their thoughts in order to create stories. And then I started listening and to learn. And at some level, I learned. When I finish, then somebody will judge how good I learned. And then I started to write, and I wrote like I know 11 chapters, and this is like something like 100 pages. And then I found myself now the story uh, was in one direction, one level, and now needs to go to other level. Now it's dynamic starts, and then I stuck. And then I see the problem. One character needs to go from one place to another place, but there is no way to do that in such a way. And then I stuck, and I'm still stuck in it. I know everything after, but I don't know how to deal with it. So I hope there will be some kind of idea soon in order to 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 go further.
Yes. And yeah, that's an endless series of adventures, of course. And many youngsters,
And sorry for interrupt for sorry for
please.
interruption. Uh, and then I learned when I start to do this that actually I learn about myself.
Mm,
So you start to writing. You are in that place. You see those things that you want to describe, and then there is some thoughts and some sentences coming out of you, and you start to wondering from where. How do I have this way of thinking? Because I didn't recognize that I have it. So I was very surprised. And when I write always with smile because somehow I feel that I'm going deep in myself. And actually, when I solving those trouble by writing, I actually going deeper in myself and finding something to put in it. So it's a wonderful process. So I think, and I had that when I explained this process with my friends, and I was speaking about it in the same way now as I speak with you, and I said, "Oh my God, people who actually can live from writing, there must be a very very happy people." You know, this is my actually uh, conclusion, but I don't know. Am I right at all?
uh, uh, the way you wonderfully express your adventure of writing, that reminded me of that wonderful novel and the 1966, I think, film on the journey to the center of the earth by Jules Verne. Yes. Uh, when we write, we go, we that is a journey to our center
Yeah.
as well. And it's a great therapy, actually. And the most important thing is yourself, I think. That should be so for a writer to write in freedom, inner freedom. I write the way I would like to read.
Hmm.
How should I write so that as a reader, it would be interesting for me to read? So I don't care what whoever says what. Okay, that is the enjoying one's creative power without harming anyone. You can you are the god of your universe, and that doesn't harm anyone. So
Yeah. And actually, I found it that this is maybe the only place in the world where you have control.
yes.
Because what's happening in that book is actually you are who control it.
Mm.
So you're somehow, you're some kind of god for your book and for those
Yes,
characters
yes, yes,
and
of
what
course.
they will say, what they will do. You create universe, you create places, you create, everything. So, yeah, it's pretentious to say, you're God, but you
No,
feel
in that area,
powerful.
that's the
Yeah, yeah.
playing. Yeah, of course.
You feel
Uh,
powerful.
yes, yes. I was going to say many young talents. I think everybody can write. Everybody can become a writer. There is only one thing that's needed. You just write. When you write, you become a writer. And of course, everybody can play football. Not everybody can be a Maradona, uh,
Yeah.
Pele, but still, ethically, in principle, everybody can do so many things. But people block themselves, unfortunately. And one thing is important. Many, especially youngsters, are not patient and they want to write something very good just the first time. They don't spend time on it. They write something, they like it. Okay, that's the first step. You should like it. Okay. But then, can it be better? I think uh, becoming a professional writer, not in the sense of making money, no, but in the sense of relative mastery, uh, it is related to the ability to look at what you have written like a reader who has not read it before. Reading your stuff as much as possible from outside. That's not easy. So that's why editors or close friends who read uh, your stuff and give you feedback are important. They are important. And now ChatGPT does that editing assistance very interestingly. Uh, I do not use ChatGPT as a co-writer. I don't want the creative part, but as an editor, when I write in English, it's good to have the opinion, and it was interesting, so interesting. Um,
I stopped, as I said, I stopped working on this book like 3 months ago, and
mhm,
then and when I was writing, you go back and you reread, and then yeah, but I don't have experience. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it what kind of impression creates? But then when 3 months are behind, and then I think 2 days ago I was reread my last chapter because
mm,
I was now I wanted to now continue, and I created the way for it. So maybe this house arrest will help in it, some good of it, before they put me in the real jail. And then I reread, and then I was surprised because I forgot. I know what I wrote, but I forgot the style, the sentences, the everything. And then I said, "Oh yeah, now I actually can judge this because the 3 months are behind. I'm not
mm,
anymore in that particular place with my mind. And now, when it's 3 months behind, now I actually can read it like it's somebody else's."
mm. Very good. I was invited in Istanbul to a creative writing class in high school. There were a few teachers eager to hear what I was going to say, and there were about 20 students. I said, read as few books as possible.
Okay.
Now, the teachers were horrified. All right. And the students, their eyes, flashes. And
So unexpectable.
I stopped for a few seconds, and I said, 5,000 books, for example.
Yeah,
And then the
yeah,
looks changed.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I mean, one should not read less than 5,000 books, I guess. But another thing, there is a, a wrong, I find wrong, piece of advice given to youngsters about writing. People usually say, teachers usually say, read a lot first so that you can write good, you can write well. I find that approach wrong. I say, first write so that you can read better.
Yeah,
Because look, and then I said to the students, let's say you want to be a swimmer. What do? Do you simply sit in front of the television and watch swimmers in the
yeah.
Olympiads? Can you become a swimmer by watching a swimming race? No, you just go into the water.
And I found that so true because when I start swimming, you saw the swimming, but you don't know what is it. You see swimming, yeah, right. And then you start swimming, and then naturally you want to do it better and better and better. And then you actually realize how difficult it is to achieve this detail And then actually you start to observe the professionals, how they do it, and then you have the right way of understanding why they do it what they're doing. And then, for example, now I mentioned Charles Dickens, and now I found him like in this particular time as a genius, because now I'm not just some kind of reader. I'm also somebody who actually trying to create a book, and then of course, I have some issues, troubles, doubts. Should I do what I do? How to achieve this? And then I read him, and then I know, why he put this in the book and what he wanted to achieve. And then actually you understand the structure of his book, and then you found him as a genius. So I think you are absolutely right, because when you start to uh, create efforts, and you find in that efforts troubles, because it's natural to find troubles, then actually when you start to learn from reading, then you actually learn in full capacity. This is how I find myself in this particular time.
True, true. Great, great. I wonder if literature is or should be, I think it should be a class, a subject in law school. Actually, it should be in every kind of discipline, because literature is life. It is condensed life. Um, and the history of law is also very exciting. I'm sure that there was a subject, a lesson, the history of law, I guess. I guess in every country, hopefully, people read about Hammurabi, for example, and Roman,
Yeah.
naturally Roman law. But Hammurabi, what a character. Most interesting. He had his laws written, in onto big pieces of stones, so that his subjects would know the law. That was something, huh?
Yeah.
He wanted that information, that knowledge, he wanted it to become public some 2,500 years ago, something like that.
But this is so important even today. And in the law, we have this particular rule that the law cannot be a law, because before everybody knows that it is a law. Because how you will respect the law if you don't know what the rule is? But then, there is inflation of laws, and now I also, at the same time, we have inflation of people. And somehow, despite the some declarations, somehow I didn't live in that time, but somehow I have impression that by inflation, with inflation of people, life started to worth less as a money, as it is with the money. And it's painful realization. And I'm wondering, is it true? Was life more expensive, had a more value when this planet had, I don't know, uh, 2 billion population instead of now 8 or 9? Um, and the same with the laws. When you have inflation of laws, then those rules are worth less, and it's easier to violate it, even if they're important. But there is so many rules, and if you violate some kind of rules, yeah, well, the punishment, it won't be so hard. Somehow, I'm not I don't have the right structure of my thoughts when I speak in this way. But just like I'm wondering, you know is there any trace of the truth in these words what I'm saying now?
Hmm. Wonderful. Uh, it is such a joy for me to have this conversation with you.
Yeah, me too.
I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy. Um, it's been 1 hour and 20 minutes.
Oh,
Uh,
already.
Already, yeah, believe it or not.
It passed very
Yes,
quickly.
yes, yes. We could go on, but another time we can go on with other uh, topics, with,
Yeah,
if you wish. Um, okay, with all our good energy, uh, yes, I'm eager to read what you are writing, what you've written, what you would write, and thank you so much. And is there anything else you would like to add at this moment? And by the way, tomorrow, members of the European Parliament will be visiting,
yeah,
and I hope they will be able to contact you. I hope there's a lot of injustice in the world, in Turkey too, elsewhere as well. I hope uh, human values can prevail, uh, because how will a person be remembered by humanity? How, when we die, we'll all die. How will people remember us? Good people will be remembered well, and then there are uh, terrible, some terrible people in history. There have been, there are, and they will be remembered in another way. So I hope your house arrest will be um, um, removed, your citizenship, your rights as a citizen. I wish this for all the good citizens of the world, everywhere, in every country.
yeah.
Yes. Anything else you would like to add before we
Well,
finish?
I would like to just to have a to provide some political information, which and social information, which I consider very important in this particular time when it comes to Serbia. Yeah, but first, I will just shortly mention this my case. It's not just my case, as I mentioned before, but those measures are not legitimate and they are not legal. But despite all of that, I have them as imposed on me, and I will violate them because if I agree or if I don't violate them, then I agree with breaking the law. They breaking the law, and I'm not breaking the law. I cannot breaking the law by saying on the social networks we need to oust this government, and they actually accused me exactly for that. I cannot break the law by saying, "Oh, we need pro-European protests in Serbia." I cannot break the law by having this word. I cannot break a law by pointing a suspicion to some state agency that maybe it has something to do with the death of one witness in one case. So rising suspicions about it cannot be a crime. So if state that put me in the custody and now in the house arrest because of it, I cannot obey to that because that decision is violation of the law, not my action. My action is not the violation of the law. But if I agree to that by my will to obey to that rule, that means that I accept that they're doing something right and that I'm doing something wrong. I cannot accept that. The freedom of speech is very important, as we mentioned. The freedom of exchanging thoughts is very important, as we mentioned. So I will violate this order, not to using my social networks, because through that networks I influence the people, I exchange ideas. Something's happening because of my views and expressions, and the consequences of it will be the real prison, not the prison, but the detention. I'm very convinced that when this case of mine reach the trial, I will get out from that trial as a winner. But I don't have trial still. This is detention without trial. And I cannot leave these things in dark, because if I leave them in dark, then everybody else will be in the dark. But instead, I see this as an opportunity to put the light on these abuses in Serbia. Abuses with the aim to silence all those voices which are not in harmony with the government. So, there is like a chain of repression, and there is every change is made from the links. So now that change is on me, and I feel with every my bone that I need to do whatever is in my power to break that chain, to break that link. Because now I see the best opportunity, because it is far more easier to risk to risk yourself as yourself than to say anybody else go and risk something. So, and I hope that attentions of enough people will help us here to break this chain, because we don't need to break every single link. We need to break one link. And when you break one link in the chain, you have a freedom. And I think it's particularly important in this political situation, in this political moment in Serbia, because there is thousands, tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of people marching through Serbia, demanding freedom, demanding, to oust corruption, demanding the different government. And somehow I think it's important that whoever direct their thoughts in Serbia to understand that recognizing the truth from the lie is never have been so important as today. Because we have, as we said, we have inflation of people, inflation of everything. There is inflation also of media. Now we all have social networks, influence to each other. It's very hard now to distinct truth of lie from lie. But if important people cannot distinct that, then we are all in trouble. So somehow I hope that this my decision to break this unlawful measure will help people to recognize and distinguish truth from lies in Serbia. Because if I could achieve that some kind of attention is on my case, then everybody who is in it will realize what actually happened. And this is actually like when you crack the code, you will crack it on my case, and now by that you will understand what is happening with everybody else who is in my position. So this is my goal, and I hope that some kind of force or even God will give me enough willingness to endure in this effort.
Thank you so much, dear Chedomir. And will you please send me a brief bio note, the situation, and about yourself and the situation, you so that I can add it when I place this on my YouTube channel today. I would like to add that information to the written box. It will be easier I'll also add my comment, of course, supporting you.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I'll do.
thank you. We are together.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you a lot. This
Thank
kind of conversation means a lot. So thank you very much.
Thank you. We are together. Dear Earthmates, we are grateful to Chedomir Stojkovic for setting a great example as a not only as a lawyer but also as a humanitarian activist, a Democrat. Yes, we are together. Thank you.
Thank you.